The Bible tells us many exciting stories about heroes of faith. These heroes weren't perfect, but they loved God and tried to follow him. We can learn a lot from their adventures. Today we're going to talk about three of these heroes, Abraham, Jacob, and David. Abraham is known as the father of the Jewish people. God made a special promise to him, promising him a huge family and a land of their own. Jacob was Abraham's grandson, a man who wrestled with God and received a new name, Israel. His sons became the 12 tribes of Israel. Then there's David, a shepherd who became a mighty king. He defeated the giant Goliath and wrote many beautiful psalms of prayer to God. These three men are important figures in the Bible, and their stories are full of adventure, faith, and even some difficult choices. But remember, these heroes were human just like us. They made mistakes and faced challenges. Their families especially were complicated, and that's something we're going to explore today. One thing that might seem strange to us today is that Abraham, Jacob, and David had more than one wife. This is called polygamy. Let's meet their families. Abraham had Sarah, his beloved wife. But he also had another wife named Hagar, and later in life a wife named Keturah. Jacob had a big family. He had two wives, Leah and Rachel, and he loved Rachel very much. He also had children with their servants, Bilhah and Zilpah. King David had several wives too, including Michal, Abigail, and Bathsheba. It's important to remember that God created marriage to be between one man and one woman, like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So while these men were heroes, their choices to have many wives weren't part of God's perfect plan. You might wonder why they had so many wives. Well, times were different back then. In those ancient cultures, having many wives was sometimes a sign of wealth and power. It also helped create alliances between different tribes and families. Think about it like this. Marrying someone from another group was like making a treaty. It helped keep peace and even help people prosper. People also had more children back then to help with work on farms and to care for families as they grew older. Remember, though, that God's ideal for marriage is between one man and one woman. He created this special bond to be full of love, faithfulness, and joy. Even though these heroes made mistakes, God still loved them, and he used them in amazing ways. We learn about God's faithfulness, forgiveness, and unending love from their stories. We also see how God can work through imperfect people like you and me. The Bible teaches us that God's plan for marriage is beautiful and holy. He wants to bless families and bring people together in love and commitment. As you read the stories of Abraham, Jacob, and David, remember to focus on their love for God and their desire to follow him. Let's learn from their good choices and ask God to help us make wise decisions in our own lives. He will always be there to guide us and forgive us when we make mistakes, just like he did for these heroes of the faith.